Hi, I'm Melinda Potter. I'm Assistant Principal at Eastridge High School, and I'll be evaluating Mr. Farmer's Capstone project.
My name is Kevin Justice. I'm the principal at Eastridge High School, and I'll be observing Adam Farmer.
Thank you, Mr. Justice and Ms. Potter, for your introductions, and thank you for attending my capstone presentation today. And I want to thank Dr. Biggerstaff, as he's watching via video, for evaluating my capstone presentation as well. My capstone project was about the effects of novice reduction on overall school improvement. The data I used came from Eastridge High School in Pike County, Kentucky. That's where I currently teach, and I'm a special education teacher there. And we're actually presenting from my classroom today. The abstract for my presentation: the capstone study will focus on the effects of novice reduction in problem areas on overall school success and achievement. Strategies that will be used are collaboration with administration, who are in attendance today, and the leadership team, which I am a member of, to obtain data on problem areas in school achievement and school achievement data. The study will use classroom data to measure the effectiveness of current instructional practices and techniques. And all this will allow us to identify the barriers that our students face right here in Eastridge High School, and the barriers that our teachers face here in Eastridge High School in the instructional setting. The target area will be the novice scores on the end of course assessments in biology and algebra 2. Those are our two focus areas, biology and algebra 2. The study will be designed to compare existing scores with the current scores from these subject areas, and it's not going to target any specific student. It's just overall data. A little bit about Eastridge High School in my introduction. Principal is Kevin Justice, who is in attendance for the evaluating me in my presentation today. Assistant Principal Melinda Potter, who is also on my evaluation committee. We house grades 9 through 12. Our current enrollment is 488 students. We are in the Pike County Public School District, and we are currently, based on last year's test scores, a proficient school. And hopefully, through my data and through this presentation today, I'll show you how we have been improving upon that as well. The Eastridge High School Site-Based Council, this is our school improvement goals that the Site-Based Council came up with. They will develop and initiate a plan to reduce teacher turnover during the 2017-2018 school year. All math students at Eastridge High School who scored novice in Algebra 2 will decrease from 36.3% to 32.7% by May 2017. All science students at Eastridge High School who scored novice in biology will decrease from 22.3% to 17.3% by May 2017. Teachers will effectively implement higher level questioning in their classroom instruction, and teachers will effectively implement and post rigorous and intentionally shared learning targets in their classrooms. So these goals that were in my introduction here is what this project is going to be based upon. Is novice reduction, something that the state's focusing on, something our district's focusing on, and our school as a whole is focusing on, is novice reduction. And those basic goals are what we're going to establish this capstone around. The research questions for the project: what we want to know is, what impact does novice reduction in priority end of course areas such as algebra 2 and biology, which are our focus, have on overall school achievement scores? Second question: how do novice reduction strategies in the classroom affect growth on EOC scores in priority areas such as algebra 2 and biology? And how do school improvement plan strategies impact growth in the classroom? as well as overall novice reduction on school achievement scores. So these research questions were designed around our school improvement goals that came from the East Ridge High School CSIP, or the school improvement plan. So we designed our research questions based on that. Before I started the actual, I guess you'd say, nuts and bolts of the project, we reviewed some literature, some research studies that looked at novice reduction, also some studies that looked at the gap closure. How do we close the gap? We also looked at some literature and research that was in our state from KDE that talked about why the Commissioner of Education had decided to focus upon novice reduction. The 4 categories of novice reduction, according to an article on the KDE website, are standards and curriculum support, instruction, continuous improvement, and assessment, and environment and support. This is from the KDE website, 2017. Our Commissioner of Education, Dr. Terry Holliday, states the following as the main reason behind the need for novice reduction. So this is our Commissioner of Education stating exactly why he decided that we need to focus on novice reduction, not just in our district or in our school, but statewide in the state of Kentucky. He said, we have more than 80,000 students performing at the novice level in reading and more than 60,000 students performing at the novice level in math. So he's wanting to focus on reading and math novice reduction, but as a individual school, we decided we needed to focus on biology and math, just based on our school scores. The numbers of novice level performers in our state is staggering and justifies the need for novice reduction strategies in our school. I agree with that totally and wholeheartedly. That it is a very staggering number of the novice level performing students we have in this state. It also justifies that novice reduction deserves the attention and focus that was given to college and career readiness upon its implementation stages. Concerning the listed numbers of novice students, the Commissioner made the point, these are the students that Kentucky must care more about and provide intervention for before it is too late. So those novice students are the ones that we've got to care for and provide more attention to. And he compared it to our success that we've had in college and career readiness. Now it's time to move to something different. It's time to move to a different project and continue advancing our schools in Kentucky. Our methods and procedures. Some of the things we used during this presentation, our methods and procedures, our school's 45-45 90-day plan. This was created by our leadership team. We created this during the summer. We looked at last year's test scores and walkthrough data and different things that we'll talk about here in a minute that we're actually going to use for this project. But we created our 45-45 90-day plan, and that is for a school as a whole, our school as a whole. We're also using the 30-60 90-day plans. These are plans that's developed by departments. So in our department PLCs, our department chairs take lead on this and develop our 30-60 90-day plans for individual departments. And this is what we want to reach at 30, 60, and 90 days within our school year. We use practice EOC assessment sessions. There's 3 of those throughout the year. We did one at the beginning of the year, one right around Christmas time, which we call our mid-year assessment, and then one toward the end of the year, a little bit before our actual state assessment. So this was three sessions throughout the school year that us as teachers, administration, and within this project, we got to see how our kids were performing and progressing based on EOC standards. And this allowed us to predict a little bit get a pretty close prediction as to how we were going to perform on the actual state assessment. Classroom walkthroughs, these are performed by our administration. This is data looking at questioning techniques and rigorous standards. Are our standards posted? Are they being addressed in our classroom lessons and discussions? And those are the two main focuses we looked at: our standards and our questioning techniques. And then the end of the year EOC state assessment. So we've got our practice assessment, we got our walkthrough data, we got all of that data throughout the year, and then what will give us our final results to if this project worked, if novice reduction worked for our school, is our end of the year EOC state assessment scores. And that's the end all for us right there. Data source and collection section. Our baseline data, we got this from our school report card and our CSIP, our Comprehensive School Improvement Plan. That's where we got our baseline data. That's our data from last year. What do we need to improve upon? What goals do we need? Just all of our base data that we were going to build upon, improve upon, and compare to the current data that we now have. Practice EOC assessment data in biology and algebra 2. Like I taught earlier, the beginning, middle, and end of year data is what we use for our data source and collection of data. Our teachers actually use spreadsheets, and we tracked all of our students throughout the year on all three of these assessments and tallied up the percentages of who increased, who didn't increase, how many novice we had at the beginning of the year compared to how many novice we had at the end of the year. Questioning techniques and standard data from administrative walkthroughs. Like we talked about earlier, the questioning techniques that we've learned in professional development, our PD sessions, are they being used in the classrooms? Are they effective for our students? Are our students engaged because we're using these now? So that's some of the things our administration was looking at in their walkthroughs, as well as do we have our standards posted in classrooms? Do the teachers address those standards? Do they connect the lesson to the standards? And mainly, are those standards the correct standards that we're supposed to be using? You wouldn't think that that would be an issue, but sometimes it is. Our data analysis techniques. Once we compiled all of our data, we had to analyze it. So we figured out the easiest way to analyze it was tables and charts. So right here we used a bar chart or graph to look at our practice EOC data. And as you can see, as we went through, we'll look at biology, which is represented by this blue color. Algebra 2 represented by the gray color right here. Biology, our beginning of the year score, out of those scores, we were looking at the percent of novice scores. Out of all the students that took these practice assessments, this is the percent of novice scoring students in biology. At the beginning of the year, we were at 57% of our students that took the practice assessment scored at the novice level. At the mid-year assessment, we actually decreased that, and only 41% scored at the novice level. And then by the end of the year, we were at 31%. Now, once we looked at this 31%, if that's our prediction, we're still just a little bit off on our goal. We needed our goal to be about 29%, 29.7%. So that's still a little bit off, but it's very close, a lot closer than we were at the beginning of the year. So our prediction, we were kind of happy with. So we were looking forward to seeing what we got at the end of the year. Algebra 2, if we look at the beginning of the year, we had 51% novice out of all the students that took the practice assessment. Middle of the year, around Christmas time, we went down to 39%. So we went down 12% in Algebra 2, which was good. We're headed toward our goal. End of the year, 29%. If that's our prediction, 29%, we have met our goal for Algebra 2. So we are hoping, once we look at those end of the year scores, based on these practice assessments, we're going to be very close to reaching both goals, which would be huge for our school. Our walkthrough data, we looked at questioning techniques being used and standards and objectives. Are they posted and are they addressed in classrooms? That's what our administration was looking for. We have 29 classrooms in our school, 29 teachers, 29 classrooms. At the beginning of the year, 18 of those 29 teachers that are in our school were effectively using our questioning techniques. That's 62%. That's not very good. That's something we knew we needed to improve on, and this data shows that. But look at this. By the end of the year, 27 out of 29 were effectively using questioning techniques. That brought us up to 93%. That's not our goal. That's not the goal we wanted to reach, which was 97%. But we made a huge gain from 62% to 93%. Now, in our standards being posted and addressed in our classrooms, at the beginning of the year, 20 of 29 teachers were actually posting and addressing those standards and objectives within their lessons. That's 69%. Still, an improvement is needed. But as you see, represented by the gray here, we went up majorly by the end of the year. 100% of classrooms in East Ridge High School were addressing and posting our daily standards, which is huge. Data analysis techniques continue. This is our biology EOC scores from last year, 2015-2016 school year, compared to what we got this year. This is our end of the year scores. This is the state assessment, the one we're judged by. Last year, 2015-2016 school year, we had 33% novice scores on the test, leaving 67% above novice. This year, we were hoping, our goal was to decrease that to 29.7. Our practice assessment showed us at 31% at the end of the year, and our end of the year scores were not exactly what we were looking for. But it shows us this is going to have an impact on our overall school achievement. We actually increased 38% novice on biology EOC. Algebra 2, we compared it the same way with pie charts here. 2015-2016 school year, we had 36% of students performing at the novice level. We knew that was a target area, and we wanted to bring that down. We wanted to bring this down 3.6%, which is 10% of the overall. So that would put us right around 32.4% was our goal. 2016-2017, we had 8% novice scoring students for Algebra 2 on the EOC. We met the goal and went above and beyond the goal. Now, we'll talk about this a little bit later. I think the Algebra 2 carried what we didn't do in biology a little bit this year. But we know if we improve both next year, stay consistent in Algebra 2 and improve that biology, then our overall school scores are going to skyrocket. Okay, if we look at our results and discussion here, our EOC practice assessment, as we said, we went from in biology, this was our predictions. By the end of we started out at 57%, end of the year 31%, and we know now we didn't reach that goal. That prediction wasn't what it actually turned out to be. We did a little worse than our prediction. Algebra 2, So these practice assessments didn't give us the accurate data we needed for biology. But for Algebra 2, we were at 29% at the end of the year, where we started at 51% novice. Our actual end of the year state assessment, 8% novice. So we blew that one out of the water. So we know that these EOC practice assessments, they do give us an idea of where we're at and where we stand, but we do need to improve the process and procedures and how we look at this data throughout the year. I don't think we're looking at it enough throughout the year. We're waiting till the end of the year to look at it when it's too late. So I know that these practice assessments are effective and they're really, really useful and vital data, but we as a school, now we see from our results in this project, we got to look at this a little more extensively throughout the school year. Results and discussion continued. This is looking at the walkthrough data. We reached our goal in the standards on the walkthrough. Didn't quite reach it on the questioning techniques, and I think this is something that helped us fall a little bit short as well. Is not everyone is taking these questioning techniques seriously within our school. If we can get that to where everyone's doing it, everyone's improving on it, and everyone is using these questioning techniques, our student engagement is going to go up. Student involvement is going to skyrocket, which plays right in there with the student engagement. And I think this is going to have an impact on our school scores. So we know that this is something we got to work on even more. We got to take it up even to a higher notch, even though we've shown great improvement and great strides to this point. Our biology, this is just breaking it down as to what our final results were from last school year to the current school year. We went 33% novice in biology, went up to 38%, which is not what you want to do. You want these scores to go down, these percentages to go down. Algebra 2, last year, 36% novice. This year, a staggering 8%. So that's unreal. That data was just absolutely unreal right there. And as you can see, we looked at novice reduction and how it impacts the overall school scores. And you'll see that our school, here in just a minute, we'll talk about our school actually improved overall. So novice reduction did have a positive impact. Now, if Algebra 2 had not reduced so dramatically, then biology would have held us back a little bit, but our Algebra 2 picked up the slack for biology this year and still allowed us to improve overall. Now, we know it's effective. So now we got to take biology and take it to the next level and really crack down and focus on that next year, and we can take our school into a school of distinction level. East Ridge High School was a proficient school for the 2015-2016 school year. So even with those high percentages of novice in biology and Algebra 2, we were still a proficient school. Now, we stayed consistent in everything else, but because of the dramatic improvement in Algebra 2, this year we are projected to be a distinguished school for the 2016-2017 school year, which is major, and it's a major improvement and a major accomplishment for our school. So we know that novice reduction positively impacts overall school improvement based on this research project. Based on this capstone project, it shows me that our focus on novice reduction has positively impacted our overall school improvement. And we know if we focus on that biology a little harder next year and continue decreasing the novice in the other areas, we're going to go even higher than a distinguished school here. So now that we have these results and we know that we have improved, We know areas that we didn't improve in and areas that we continue to need to focus on. We developed some actions and next steps moving further on, moving into next school year. The next step will be for us to use collaboration within the school. The department chairs will meet along with the leadership team before the next school year to discuss strategies used within their individual departments. So this is important here. Our department chairs can meet with the leadership team, and we can collaborate and share what was effective for us, what didn't work for us in our departments. Algebra 2, what are you doing? What's so effective for you? Biology department, science department, what's holding you back? How can we help to improve that? It's all part of this collaboration that has to take place in our next steps and our actions. The department chairs will present to each other additional strategies beyond the strategies identified in this project that were successful for them and based on their classes. So not just the steps or strategies that we used in this project. What's some other things that's being used in our school that we didn't identify in this, or we maybe don't know about? What's something that Algebra 2 is doing that biology's not doing? Are they looking at their data a little different? Are they analyzing it a little different? How can we help each other improve? That's the main focus of this next step. And we say the math department will lead the discussions based on their success introducing the amount of novice performing students. So we want to know what they're doing. Another step that will be taken in the science department is the science department attending professional development sessions before and throughout the next school year. This is going to be a way for the department to identify areas that need improvement and implement additional techniques and strategies that will work for them in their particular department. We need science-focused strategies. We need to know and learn from other schools and other research studies how they're improving their science scores and how we bring that into our school and improve our biology scores, because we know that's what's going to continue taking us up is those biology scores. Another action or step that will take place is aligning our standards in biology with the lessons being taught in the classroom. So, are we actually teaching aligned to our standards, our EOC standards? Are the standards that these kids are seeing on the test, is that what's being taught in our classroom? That's what we've got to figure out, and that's what we've got to get on the same page with in this next step, is ensuring that the standards they're going to be tested on are the standards they're going to be using and practicing throughout the school year. Based on the results of the data, the biology standards being used do not align with the material in the EOC curriculum. Now, they may. The standards that are being posted may align. If we just looked at this data, we wouldn't think so. Okay, that would be a conclusion we could come to. But we got to figure out, are they aligning, and are we connecting them in a proper way, and in a way that the kids understand them? So our department's going to look at material that's being taught and make sure that it's aligned with the overall curriculum and goals for the biology EOC. Now we looked at our ISLIC and TSSA standards. This is for administrators. ISLIC Standard 1, it states that an education leader promotes the success of every student by facilitating the development, articulation, implementation, and stewardship of a vision of learning that is shared and supported by all stakeholders. Collaboration, data monitoring, and next steps in our project is what connected to these shared common goals of novice reduction. So through collaboration, data monitoring, our next steps, and connecting our shared common goals of novice reduction, this is how we implemented ISLIC Standard number 1 into our capstone project, or into my capstone project in our school. Standard number 2, ISLIC Standard number 2 states an education leader promotes the success of every student by advocating, nurturing, and sustaining a school culture and instructional program conducive to student learning and staff professional growth. This project, my capstone project, advocates student learning through classroom walkthroughs, progress monitoring methods, and connection of standards to curriculum material. Then TSA standards, the technology standards for administrators. Standard 5 states that assessment and evaluation educational leaders use technology to plan and implement comprehensive systems of effective assessment and evaluation. So are we using effective technology in our evaluation and in our assessments? Programs such as Study Island, ADMOL, and SITS are used for practice assessments, progress monitoring, and even professional and student growth. So we are effectively using our available technology for the assessments, for the kids to take the assessments. It tracks our data for us, and we monitor our student growth goals and professional growth through it as well. So we found out through this capstone project that our school is effectively using technology to monitor assessment and evaluation. Now the conclusion, based on the results of the data collected from East Ridge High School, novice reduction strategies do have a direct impact on overall school achievement scores. East Ridge was a proficient school for the 2015-2016 school year based on school achievement scores. So we know, as we conclude this presentation and my project, we know novice reduction strategies have a positive impact on overall school achievement scores. Our project has shown that. Why? I'm sorry. Because last year, 2015-2016 school year, we were a proficient performing school. After the implementation of novice reduction strategies and continued monitoring of the progress and strategies, the overall school achievement scores for East Ridge High School improved for the 2016-2017 school year. Our novice reduction strategies and all the strategies we used throughout the year in this project, it impacted our school achievement scores positively. It showed improvement, it showed growth in our overall school achievement scores for 2016-2017. The overall school results have not been released publicly or made official, so they're not public or official just yet. We just know the preliminary results. But we are projected to be a distinguished school this upcoming year. So East Ridge is projected to improve from a proficient to a distinguished school for the upcoming year, showing that novice reduction strategies positively impact overall school achievement scores. This concludes my presentation, my capstone presentation on novice reduction strategies. Thank you all, Ms. Potter, Mr. Justice, for taking the time out of your summer to evaluate my capstone project. Dr. Biggerstaff, I thank you for evaluating my capstone project, and I do want to apologize for some of the technical difficulties we've had. That popping up in the middle of the presentation, but we went right on through it. So thank you all again, and God bless.